All right, after going through all my footage, well, not even the footage that I used to have, and trying to backtrack and figuring out where I'm at, what footage I still have, I kind of figured out that all the footage I lost was of the transmission install, transmission lines, headers, wiring, fuel system install, and then like intake and kind of accessories and stuff is all gone. All that footage is gone. So I'll just run through just an overview of what I've done. We'll start at, I guess, some of the stuff is like, oh, I painted the intake and installed it. Like, here it is. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, it sucks that I lost the footage, but there it is. Like, there's not really a whole lot to talk about there. There's a bunch of intake, well, not even a bunch, just cleaned up and installed it. New coil, new distributor cap and rotor, plug wires, stuff like that. Wiring is there. That was a long video and it's all gone. I want to say a lot to talk about, but it's just kind of hard to do. I had to take, well, obviously the whole harness was off and sitting on the bench. Pulled all the loom off the harness, and basically I had like a Mitchell book showing the wiring schematic, and I just did that. Yes, purple and white wire goes to the EGR valve. Okay. And I depinned like all of the EGR and the evap system stuff, and basically stuff that I didn't need, and I just removed it out of the harness. Oh, what have I gotten myself into? Shot the wires to the sensors that I do need, and that was it in kind of a nutshell. There's only a few that you get rid of. It's like EGR, like your evap system, secondary O2s, maybe a couple more, but there's not a whole lot that you have to actually get rid of. You keep most of them. My God, there's so much wiring. At least for this truck. I kept most of it. Now, that being said, I still have it. This is what I got rid of. Like, it's a pretty big box of wiring. So you keep most of it, but then you still do end up getting rid of a lot. So there's that. But it still wasn't that bad. I had a Mitchell manual, which is basically kind of like an all data type deal. And I was able to get like a wiring schematic that I could use as a reference and like figure out what I needed to keep and label everything. Let's see, the purple and white wire goes to the EGR differential pressure sensor. Well, I don't really know what that is, but that doesn't sound important. I did label some stuff on the truck, or on when it was still on the motor before I disconnected it, just because I knew I was gonna have everything taken apart. Oh my God, there's so many wires. But there was other stuff that I forgot, and really it's not a big deal because, like, let's just say you need like the IAC, like the idle air control or something, and it says it's pin 5 of the white or whatever. Guarantee you that's not it, but I'm just using it as an example. So then you would take your meter on that, and then you would go and you would ohm out and find out which plug it was, and that, you know, that's your idle air control. So then you label it. I don't remember if I labeled it doing that way or just when it was still on the motor, because this is easy to get to, but ones that I missed, that's how I would double check and figure out what's what. Yes, the blue wire goes to the purge solenoid. Yes, I need to take that off. I did keep, well, I got the ECM here. The bracket is the factory bracket off of the parts truck, off of the 98. I just cut the ABS motor sat right, there's a controller right here. I just cut that off. I think I had to cut and weld those tabs. A couple of them one of them bolted in. This one I think was a little too long or something because the fender was a different contour. So I just cut and just cut and welded this tab on here. It bolts to the fender there. It bolts to the fender on the other side. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bolt there going through the fender. I don't know. So my ECM's mounted. I mean, it's pretty solid on there. So I was able to reuse this bracket and then this plastic one that the ECM mounts to, snaps in. It's pretty good. I do like to reuse, this is the fuse relay center out of that truck. It wasn't in the exact same spot as it is now, but I like to reuse, well, not reuse them, but get out there. How do I get it out? There we go. I like to use these when I can because it cleans everything up as far as if you need fuses and stuff, for like my fuel pump and the ECM fuses and any relays like fuel pump relay and stuff. I like basically using these if I can, even the smaller ones, whatever. I got some extras off of some junk cars, but I like how it really cleans everything up, and then I can add, I mean, whatever I need. I depinned a bunch of extra fuses that I didn't need out of here, like ABS and other fuses that are in there. Just popped the back of that off and then just took the pins out. I hate electrical work. There's fuses in here that I'm not using right now. I think these two I'm not using, but they're there if I need them. So I did that. Here's my main power coming into it. That's coming off of, I think, the back of the alternator. Yes. It runs up and around and down, and then it ties off the back of the alternator. Battery power into it. Extra wires if I need them. But I like reusing these. This doesn't really match up anymore, although I think some of them do. I think the fuel pump relay and the starter relay I think are still there. I think this one's just extra. But like I said, I like reusing these. I think it looks pretty good as far as clean. It's better than a bunch of wires and crap hanging everywhere. So I did basically depin that, the same thing as the ECM, just depinned it, cut all the stuff that I'm not using out of it. What does this even do? Kept a little extra, just in case I want to put like an electric fan or something on it after later on. I have everything right here for it, like a good power coming in and a fuse and everything. All I gotta do is run like a control, even have a relay for it. So it'll be easy to wire up extra stuff if I need it. I'm still not quite done with this. I still need to loom these up, but it's still almost a temporary, but just until I get all the bugs and everything worked out of it and make sure everything is working 100%, and then I'll finish up my last little bit of wiring here. Ran the harness. It's basically the same routing as what was in the stock truck. It's just a little bit different. I did end up, I don't know what I did wrong, but for my coil wire here, I don't know what I did, but my wires like weren't long enough. Okay, let's just go. We're like, it's never gonna run again. I don't know why or what happened, but I ended up having to cut and splice some of them. But I don't know. I was looking at the truck and or the footage I had. And I don't know why it did that. This also has the 4L80, so the harness actually runs. For some reason, it goes down to the passenger side and then cuts back over to the driver's side. I don't know why they did it, but that's what I did too, because instead of trying to cut everything and shorten all my wires and everything like that, I'll just route it the same way it was. Fuel injection plug right here. Like I said, a lot of it was just kind of thinning out what I didn't need and then reluming it and then plugging everything back in. I can't, oh, there's the relay I was looking for. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. But that's kind of it for the wiring. I mean, get your battery power, ignition power, and grounds to make your ECM run. Thin out what you don't need. Plug in the rest, and I guess that's it. I don't know. Like I said, it was like an hour-long video, and it's gone. The transmission, it actually went in pretty easy too. These trucks actually have quite a bit of room, and this being a 4L80, that's a pretty sizable transmission, and you know, it cleared everything pretty good. Now it's tight, but you know, it cleared everything pretty nice. I did have to, this is my stock cross member, but I did have to move it back since it's a few inches longer than a Turbo 400. But basically all I did was just drill 2 new holes in the frame. My stock holes are like here and here, and all I did was move it back. Well, I bolted it to the transmission there, and then wherever my holes lined up in the frame, I just re-drilled them, put my bolts back in it, and that was it for that. It was actually pretty straightforward too. My lines, that was, I want to say, a little different story. They are a -6 AN lines. Instead of trying to monkey around, you know, making new lines or anything like that, I decided to use -6. Those are special fittings that screw into the transmission. Hello, Summit. Yes, I need some 4L80 transmission cooler line adapters. Yes, those to a -6. Yes, yes. Oh, you're completely out of them. Okay, when will you get them in? Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay. Try somewhere. Oh, I'll be better off to just put a different transmission in it. Oh, that is heartbreaking. There. Right. That is a special fitting that screws into the transmission, and then just goes out to a -6. I got an elbow. Same with the front. A little easier. Yeah. Same with the front. And they just run up to the front into the radiator. I had to do the same thing. I had to order like special fittings that go into the radiator. Hello, Summit. Yes, yes. I need some radiator cooler fin adapters. You have no idea what I'm talking about? Yeah, neither do I. The radiator's like a 3/8 flared or whatever. Oh man, I forgot my light down there. Just a special 3/8 flare out to a -6. I got a 45, and then the one on the bottom, or that's a 90. The one on the bottom actually ended up being a 45. I got wiring in the way. Anyway, same deal. My lines just run back. That was it for really for the transmission. All my wiring and everything for it was, I'm gonna say plug and play, but as far as having to do something to modify the transmission to go into this truck, it was actually pretty easy. Didn't have to bash the floor or anything. And actually it would have been even easier, but my cab corners rusted out, so the floors actually sagged down, and I still had room. So that was pretty nice. All right, I need to tell you guys about the shift linkage that I made work. This is the stock bracket off of the Turbo 400 transmission. It basically bolted straight up to this 4L80. Just took the shift cable off and that bracket stuff, bolted this on. This is all my stock linkage on the truck. The only thing I had to do really was, if you can see up in there, I had to move this bracket over on the frame. Yeah. Basically, that's where those two holes. I just moved it over one hole and then re-drilled that one, and it seems to work. You can kind of tell it's a bit of an angle. The rod on that bracket. It should probably be moved over maybe another, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch to an inch. But it works. I'm also right on the end of the shift rod there. So if I really moved it over anymore, I think I would have to extend this rod out and everything. And right now it shifts through all the gears, like on the column of the truck. It is a little mushy, I'd say, but it does shift through everything. And this isn't no ratchet shifter or anything like that, so, but actually you don't even really feel that mushy. But I mean, if you're gonna go drag racing, you would probably need a better shifter, but it feels about like a stock shifter would in a truck like this. So I'm actually pretty happy with it. It turned out pretty good, and it actually wasn't really very hard to do either. Since we were talking about the dash 6 line from my transmission lines, might as well talk about the dash 6 line from a fuel system.
Hello, Summit. Yeah, I need some dash 6 braided line. Yeah, for fuel systems. Yeah. Oh yeah, I need all the fittings too. How much is it? Oh, do you take check? Yeah, I'll pay you in check, but don't cash it till next week.
Same deal. I use dash 6 AN lines for the feed for my fuel lines. The return is just a normal 5/16 rubber. I did that because there's no pressure on the return, so it's not a big deal to just run. I didn't need fuel injection line or anything. It's just 5/16 line just straight back into the return from my fuel sending unit for the tank. The up here, my fuel rails are way back here in the corner. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see them or not. Probably not. They're right there. The return, and then you probably can't even. You can't even see the feed. Well, it's down there, trust me. Alright, so they're just basically like at a weird angle on the back of the intake, kind of shooting down. They're also a very strange thread count. It's like a 17mm O-ring, some weird thing, and then the return line's like a 15mm O-ring. There's different sizes. I just got them both to, I think, a dash 6. The return, I think, is actually a dash 6 to like a barb, and like so it goes from the adapter to a dash 6 to a barb. Yeah. So or maybe it's just, yeah, the adapter is to a dash 6, and then I have like a dash 6 barb. I don't know what I'm talking about. One of these things. It's a dash 6 barb, and I just stuck a 5/16 return line on it. So anyway, the feed line is a dash 6 coming into it. The adapter, then it goes to a dash 6 line. It's steel braided. It goes down here. You can see, oh man, I need my freaking light. All right, under here, you can see my AN line basically coming from my tank, running to a stock style filter for like a truck, like a Chevy truck or something with fuel injection. These are the push lock lines. I had to buy little adapters. Came in like a kit. that convert from the push line to the dash 10.
Hello, Summit? Yes, yes. I need some dash 6 to push lock adapters for my fuel system. How much are they? Okay, do you take check? Alright, yes, I'm gonna write you a check, but don't cash it till the end of the week.
Or maybe it's, yeah, I think it's dash 10 that I did. Same thing right there, push lock. My return line is just a 5/16 like rubber line because there's no pressure or anything on it. I put a little barb fitting there. I didn't have to, but I like to. If I need to take the tank or something out, I can just disconnect this here and disconnect this here, and I can drop my whole tank and not have to reach up there and fight with the return line. So I got them made a little clamp, like a little holder, just out of some sheet metal and some fire hose, and clamp that filter in place. Holds it real nice. Basically ran the fuel line up, clamped it up out of the way, and it runs up to the back of the motor. All right, the sending unit, actually, it turned out really nice, and too bad I lost the footage and you'll never see it. No. But what I ended up doing was getting a sending unit for like an 87, I think. It was a square body, but the throttle body injected one. So I think 86, 87, I think 87 is what I ended up getting it for. But it's the same like up here as like a normal square body, but the feed and everything's different because the feed's only like that, and it's got a big bracket that comes down, and you can basically clamp like an electronic fuel pump to it. So I got a fuel pump for, it was either an LS swap or just a little bit later model Chevy. Now for the fuel pump. Perfect. Sending unit complete. One that'll put out the higher pressure that the multi-port will use. I think it was like an LS swap style fuel pump. But it bolted right in, clamped in, had the sock, looked like nice and factory right here. Actually turned out really nice. Then what I ended up having to do was like cut this off and this elbow off. Because of my dash 10. And so I made, this isn't it obviously because it's on the truck, but this kind of is like what I did. I had like a barb to not dash 10, a dash 6. Basically I had it like there, and it was a bulkhead fitting kind of like this. This is not a bulkhead fitting, but it kind of looks like what I did. Imagine this is a bulkhead fitting. I cut that off and drilled it out, and then I put like that in where the hole was, like in like that. Then I could put that up, and then I just took like my dash 6 and line and bolted it like right into that, and it looks like this. Barb up to the 90, out to a dash 10. It worked out really nice. Ah, yes, that looks wonderful. It actually looks really nice. I mean, too bad nobody will ever see it. And it was real slick. Too bad I lost all the footage and nobody will ever see that either. Great. All right, one other thing that I don't have the footage anymore of is the header install. These headers are actually off of a 66, 67 Chevelle. Well, they're off my 66 Chevelle, but they're for a 66, 67 Chevelle, big block. They actually fit the truck pretty nice. Just one little area down there. You can't see that. Anyway, it's where the motor mount hits. I had to bash in, like, dent, I think, this tube. Whoops. On the underside, so you don't even really see it. But other than that, like, they actually fit the truck really well. I Figure they would, because a truck's usually going to have more room than a Chevelle. But they don't hit the floor or anything like that. And actually, like I said, they fit pretty good. I had them, they were free. They were just sitting up on my wall. So I figured I'd use them. The one thing about these is I had to do a lot of grinding on them. And it wasn't anything to do with the truck. It was the head studs. The layer, or not the layer, the row of head studs that runs underneath the headers was hitting the header flange. Like every single one of them was pretty hard. I had to grind like a little groove on the bottom side of the flange where the head studs were kind of sticking out. And the threads weren't sticking out real hard or real high. It was just like the actual nut itself. Like the stud was flush with the nut, but just the nut was taller than like a head bolt. So that was the main thing with the headers, was just marking and grinding the flanges in order to get them to fit the head studs, as opposed to like the truck. Like they fit in the truck really nice. It was just the studs, which was kind of strange. All right, that's it for this video. And like I said, this video was basically just to kind of bridge the gap between where I left off and then my next available footage that I had. That way it's not just a giant chunk of this truck project missing. Like I said, I just tried to kind of fill in. It was basically just a bit of an overview of the stuff that I did. I just tried to kind of highlight any speed bumps or just hiccups that come in the project like this that I can remember, and kind of how I overcame them. Like I said, it's a big block in a truck that came with a big block, so there's not a whole lot of fabrication and stuff like that, but I am putting a fuel injected big block with an overdrive in a 73 truck, so there are differences. I tried to highlight those differences and what I did to overcome them. There's obviously more, but I don't remember really. There wasn't a whole, it's a big block Chevy going in where a big block Chevy was. Like, it was not a whole, I'm not doing anything crazy here. So I think I did an all right job of just what I could remember that I figured that someone would want to see. I don't know. That being said, and if I'd have went into like a lot further detail, the video would have been like 3 hours long. So, and went through the exact schematics, because like I said, I lost 4 or 5 videos that were pretty long. So, there's that. I tried to keep it kind of short, but highlight anything pertinent. The next video is going to be me putting on a bunch of stuff that's already on the truck right now. I got to leapfrog back and forth here, but that'll be the next video. I think you're caught up. I don't know. Like I said, I'm sure I missed a bunch of stuff, but it's kind of the way it is. Just remember, you got to pick up a wrench so you can put the hammer down. Thanks. All right, now for the wiring. I'll start out by saying at first, I don't know where to start. This is just the whatever that bracket's called off of the Turbo 400. I don't know what had happened. I hate electrical work. So very much. That somehow got shorter. I can get my hand out of that. Borderline in a bind. Doesn't really feel the best. Hey, how much are they? I wish I had the footage to kind of get into a little bit more details, but I don't. Lost all that.